Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, your host, and I tell you, this is going to be an extraordinary show. This is one of a kind that at least on the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, and I am so excited about what we're going to be talking about today because we're talking about the circus. And we talk about a whole lot of different things. And a lot of people, I know they look forward to going to the circus. They don't know anything about it other than, I'm going there. I'm going to see the animal. I'm going to see the bearded lady. I'm going to see all of this great stuff. And I used to be one of those people that was always looking forward to the circus and still am. And so, Michelle, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming up today because we really going to learn about circus life, a traditional family. A whole lot of things that the public don't know about. So, how you doing today, Dr. Cool?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm really excited about the show today. I was telling one of our guests pre-show that the last circus I've been to was, oh gosh, it was a long time ago with my sister and my niece and nephew when they were young back home in New York. But I enjoyed the circus. I'm sure I don't know if it's changed in all these years and stuff like that. I mean, if you don't go that often, then you really wouldn't know what's going on. But I did enjoy the acts. It was a family affair. And we got this amazing, first of all, the owner of the circus, who used to be a performer also. But we're going to let her tell her story. And also we got this amazing ringmaster, and he's the first, youngest, and we'll just leave it like that and let him tell his story. But yeah, I'm definitely excited about it.
The first and the youngest African.
Let him. You're supposed to let him.
We're going to give him an opportunity to tell this story. So wherever you're watching this at, was he watching on E360 TV, Transfer Television, YouTube, over 25 of the live streaming platforms. If you want to be part of the conversation, all you do is go to the comments. Ask any questions that you might have, because I know you're going to have a lot. And I promise you that these two great guests are going to enlighten us and inspire us. So I am looking forward to it. So, Michelle, can you please introduce the title of the show, purpose of the show, and identify these two absolutely fantastic guests?
Well, yeah. So the title of the show is Circus Vargas, a traditional family circus. And we're going to talk to the owner, CEO, producer of Circus Vargas, Katya Arata Quiroga, I'll pronounce the name right, and the ringmaster at Circus Vargas, Johnathan Lee Iverson. We're going to talk about the roots and the origins of Circus Vargas, the acts and the entertainments that are provided by this amazing circus, and kind of dig in deep about, the backstory, the love for the circus, but also what made them decide to want to be, performers at an earlier age where it got to this point, and the cities and the tours they have going on, the different themes and productions of the circus. So we're really excited about this. So let's introduce our guests today and tell you a little bit about them. So I get my thoughts together. So Katya Arata Quiroga. She's the heart and soul of today's Circus Vargas. With 7 generations of circus heritage, she has really done and seen it all. She's an expert in circus arts, having been both an artist and circus owner. Year after year, her bold choices and innovative ideas breathe new life into what many might consider an old-fashioned family tradition. She works tirelessly to produce all inspiring entertainment experiences that are fresh, exciting, and unique, and that endure long after the performance is over, leading audiences in anticipation for Circus Vargas' return year after year. Johnathan Lee Iverson, an accomplished and history-making showman who's been privileged to grace the most coveted stages and arenas the world over. He was a member of the Boys Choir of Harlem. He shared the spotlight with many amazing acts like Lena Horne, Ray Charles. He's kept company with political statesmen such as South African President Nelson Mandela, General Colin Powell, and former presidents. He's the youngest and first Black ringmaster of the iconic Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus. He served until 2017, making him the last ringmaster. And now he has part of Circus Vargas as the ringmaster. So please welcome to our show, Katya and Johnathan.
Hey, Katya, Johnathan, welcome to the show. It's
Thank you
so.
for having
I
us.
mean, I'm so excited about today's show because I tell you, we have done over 600 shows, and this is the first of its kind that today, and so I'm excited about that. First of all, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about you, where you grew up? We're gonna start off with you, Kathy. Where you grew up and how you got involved.
Well, actually, I did grow up in Holland and Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and my family is from circus background, so I'm a seventh generation circus performer. But my parents, when I was young, when I was actually a baby, they decided to give my upbringing with my grandparents in the Netherlands, where I actually ended up studying ballet and music at the Conservatory for Ballet and Music in Den Haag. So I did that for until I was graduated there, and then I came to America and started working in the circus and using my, skills that I learned at the art school, of course, in the Netherlands for, first performing, and then later on creating my own productions and choreographies in the show, uh, helping with the music and everything with our show that we currently have now, Circus Vargas, which we've had ownership of from the last 17 years. And it is actually super special to us, Circus Vargas, because besides this being the company that we own now and that me and my husband run and operate together with our children also performing, it has also belonged to my stepfather and my mom. They ran us for about 15 years. And before that, it was belonged to the Clifford E. Vargas, the founder, and he actually brought both my family and my husband's family to America. So it's kind of like this really iconic, American dream. We ended up owning the company that brought us here to this country originally.
Wow, that's I am so interested in learn a little bit more about them. What about you, Jonathan? Tell us a little bit about you and your background, where you grew up.
Well, thank you very much, Doctor, first of all, for having us here. It's really an honor. My background is rather interesting. I grew up in New York City, New York. I was a member of the world famous Boys Choir of Harlem. I had aspirations of becoming an opera singer. I saw Placido Domingo when I was on tour with the Boys Choir of Harlem out in Japan, and it just blew me away. And I mean, I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And if you can imagine this skinny black kid from Harlem just really aspiring to be an opera singer, many may think it was strange, but I really, really had so much support in that endeavor. And I went to a wonderful high school, LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts. So I had this incredible double life as a teenager. I was traveling and touring and performing with the Boys Choir of Harlem all over the world, all over the country, in front of dignitaries with some of the biggest celebrities of the day, and then going to school with some incredible classmates and teachers. I went on to the University of Hartford Hart School of Music on scholarship for voice, studied with a great man by the name of Jerome Pruitt, who was a marvelous tenor. He had an extraordinary career in Europe, and I was honored to be under his tutelage for 4 years at the University of Hartford, Hart School of Music. And I did that. I graduated, and I went out into the world. The plan was to actually raise funds to go to Europe to further my studies in opera. And in the midst of doing that, I was auditioning for a dinner theater. And unbeknownst to me, the director of the dinner theater was also directing Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. And he was looking for a singing ringmaster at the time. I had no clue. This was the strangest thing. It was one of those being in the right place at the right time type of scenarios. They definitely did not give me the role on a platter. I really had to earn it. I was up against like 30 other candidates who I still meet from time to time going, I was up for that job. But it was just, it was magical. And when they present you with the prospect of history, and of course, pretty acrobats, you have to take it. So I said, I had to do it. I said, I'll do it for maybe a year or two. That was my whole thing. I'll do it for like a year or two. I'll have great stories about circus. And after all, nobody will have this on their resume. That's what I was thinking. And I will never forget this. There was a wonderful, and I think he's since passed, but there was this wonderful ringmaster by the name of John Fugate, who I met early in my career. And he told me, he said, young man, when the sawdust gets in your veins, you'll never be the same. And of course, me being young and I know it all, I just thought, yeah, whatever. But boy, was he right. That 1 or 2 years I was supposed to do turned into like 17. And I got a wife. I got one of those pretty leggy acrobats. I got a wife out of it, and we had 2 children, and we traveled with the show, and we continued to do circus even after we left that particular show. And now we're here with Circus Vargas. At least I am here with Circus Vargas, which is just an extraordinary organization. I've always heard of it. And funny thing is, Katya and Nelson, we were always in each other's sphere. We were always in each other's zip code, if you will. They used to be on one unit of the greatest show on earth, and I was on another, but we never met. And so we basically had a computer and phone relationship. And, we've been going back and forth for some time. And finally, this year, I agreed to really come along and join this wonderful organization. And it's been a great, great ride. It's a beautiful place to work. Everybody's so very professional. And just dynamic. It's a gorgeous cast. And I mean, it's just such a high voltage, dynamic show. The audience is really taken to it. And I can say this without a shadow of a doubt. I've never been in a circus production that has received this many standing ovations ever. It's almost been shocking to me. Like, people are like standing and cheering like I'm at the opera or something. But it's amazing. It's really fulfilling. It's great to be in this marvelous company, Circus Vargas.
Wow. Yeah, just both of you guys opening statements are just amazing by itself. And I'm going to take a station break before I ask the next question, because otherwise it's going to take us 8 to 9 minutes before we get there. But we're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. We're going to talk more. We're going to learn about the circus, and we're going to experience Katya coming back, joining her parents and doing all these other type of things, and now she owns the circus. And so I tell you, we're going to take a station break. If you want to be part of the conversation, all you got to do is go to the comments on whichever platform you're watching this on, and just ask any question that you like, and I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be back shortly after this.
Circus Vargas presents its latest, greatest action-packed extravaganza. See it now under the big top and join us for an amazing experience where new memories are made and treasured for generations to come. See death-defying acrobats and an array of unparalleled artists and performers dedicated to captivate and astound you. The finest in family entertainment, only at Circus Vargas. The big one is back!
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, the excitement is already flowing. You can feel it. You can feel it in your veins. Just like what Jonathan said, and when the sawdust is in your veins, you're never gonna be the same. So, I, so wherever you're watching this, join us in and ask these two amazing guests any question that you like. Uh, Katya, now you said that you was over in Netherlands with your grandparents. You came back to join your parents, who was also performers in the circus. How did it feel coming back, joining in with what the family was doing, and how was that adjustment?
Well, obviously, it was amazing. Of course, also coming like officially to America because the funny story is when my parents were always performing in Europe. My mother's from the Netherlands and my father's from Italy, and both had very famous act. My father was from the famous Arata. They did an amazing act that one time was a headliner in Las Vegas at the Desert Inn in 1966. They performed for Queen Victoria. It was amazing. Then my mother's family was the Osmani sisters. They were still performing when my parents were performing in Europe as well. And originally, my grandparents were only going to take care of me and my sister for a few months, and then we are going to go back with the circus. But we started school and everything. They thought that was actually much more important for us to get an education first. And so then eventually they went to America, and it was, of course, a little challenging since we only got to see them 6 weeks in the summer vacation and 2 weeks at Christmas vacation. So after we finished our school and I got my, degree in arts for dance and music, when I then finally did go to America, it was like amazing, being living in America, seeing the American dream, and then being able to make it happen, because not everybody is able to then, make their dream become a reality. It just stays a dream, so to speak. But, I saw how hard my parents always worked to move up the ladder, not only with their acts, but also after they finished their acts and they started working more in management and things like that. My father became a general manager of Circus Vargas, so for the original owner, and my mother did all the payroll and other administrative things to Circus Vargas. So I think when Clifford Lee Vargas died and my mother and my stepfather took over the circus, that's when I realized, one day I think I could do this. I want to do this. Of course, we first wanted to experience life and travel the world. So we went, to circus like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. We went to Monte Carlo, where we won the Golden Clown Award for our flying trapeze, which is in circus terms, it's like the Oscars for circus. So we won one of those awards, and we did the whole world. And then when my mom and stepfather finally wanted to retire, that's when we said, okay, this is our time. We're going to run, operate, and own Circus Vargas, and we'll take it from there. So, and I guess we had a lot of good influence, a lot of good suggestions, and we made it work. And I think excited to still be here, and I'm very excited that Johnathan Lee Iverson with us, which we've been wanting to have for many, many years. And, really adding a lot of dynamics to the show.
Well, thank you for that. And, Johnathan, so, okay. I think people, who've been to a circus, they've seen the Ringmaster, but can you tell us, this is a two-part question. First of all, how did it feel being the youngest and first black African-American Ringmaster? And can you tell our audience, can you kind of break it down? What does a Ringmaster do?
Okay, well, to your first question, history is always exciting. Well, good history, right? I mean, I could have made history for other things, but that was really exciting to really become immortalized with, this wonderful position, to be a part of really an icon, which is the Great American Circus. And really I think for me, the big thing was I foiled all of my doubters. When I went to school, I was studying voice, right? And so the joke was, what are you going to do with a degree in do, re, mi, fa, sol? Well, to actually go out and my first time out and actually get a job being the voice of a great American institution was a real coup for me. And to have the historical ramifications attached to it was a great was a great thing, but it was also this beautiful responsibility that I really had to grow into and learn to appreciate. And no one helped me appreciate that more than my late grandfather, who was a great man. And I remember one time in Chicago, he came to the show, and he had been an activist. He'd been a minister. He'd tried to unionize workers and things of that nature. He actually escaped the lynching an attempt at people trying to lynch him because he was trying to unionize workers. And he came to my show, and I'll never forget it. There's nothing like seeing your grandparents turn into 6-year-olds. And I go up and I greet them after the show, and they're very just loading me with compliments. He was also a singer at one time in his life, so he always told me, he lived through me. And he got silent for a little bit, and he just shook his head and he goes, there was a time I couldn't sit here. He said, and here I am, and there is my son in the middle of all of this, and that to me, like, that's when it was like, oh, this mantle of responsibility, I got it. And it felt really good. And the subsequent years since, it's been wonderful to meet children of all ages, but especially young people, young Black Americans who, may not have even perceived a circus welcoming us, or knowing the history of Black people in circus, or seeing me in this position. Mm-hmm. The ringmaster, and this is getting into your second question, is a commanding position. Yes. People often mistake me for Katya. They think I'm the owner, and I'm not. But you bear a certain responsibility for the brand that you're representing. So the original ringmaster really was an equestrian director. So that is, he was an expert with horses. That's why we wear the top hat and tails and riding boots generally. My version of the ringmaster really came up in the vein of more of a showman that we actually look at now. So I'm cut from the cloth of the great Harold Ronk, who was the original singing ringmaster. Eric Michael Gillette, Jim Ragona, Jimmy James Plott, those types of guys who were really more showmen. And so, but you still have a spirit of authority. Until you say it, it doesn't happen. The acts, the show itself in many ways depend on you, because, all sorts of things can go wrong in a circus. Believe it or not, it's rare, because, these artists and our wonderful crew, they're so in sync and well-trained and so aware. It's rare there's a mishap, but when it's there, all eyes are on you to kind of coordinate certain things. I've been given the opportunity also to be a performance director with Circus Vargas. This is my first time officially doing that, but, ringmasters, generally, they were general managers, they were performance directors, kind of wrangled the artists together to, give some sort of semblance of order within the production. Believe it or not, circus is a very, very, very organized machine. And it runs really fantastically smoothly. It's all of these interesting, ordinary people with these extraordinary skills who just know how to put something together that is really dynamic and magical and peddle joy for the masses. And it's a really extraordinary thing to be a part of. And as ringmaster, it's a privilege to be the voice of that. In many cases, the face of that. You're the point of contact, even a lightning rod sometimes, for, whatever things might be going on between ownership or management and the performers themselves. You're always out in front of the press like we do this. I mean, I love doing these types of interviews. I absolutely do, because I love running my mouth. I'm a New Yorker, so it's naturally to me. And this is, we get out there. I always say being the ringmaster is like running for office without the dirt. So it's one of those things. You get to be the face, you get to be the voice, and it's a real honor.
You know what, Jonathan, real quick question. You mentioned that in New York, you went to the Performing Arts School, LaGuardia, right?
Yes.
Is that the one that they used for the movie Fame, the high school?
Absolutely.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yes, it was. We always prided ourselves with that. We're the Fame School.
I know, but I don't believe in jumping on cars like the movie and just busting out in song.
Not exactly, but we would break out in song every now and then.
Okay. Katya, how do you, and I guess this is a question for both you and Johnathan, but I'll start with you, Katya. How do you decide? Well, first of all, tell us about, those who've been to a circus, they see certain acts, but what makes Circus Vargas unique compared to other circus productions? And that's part A. And part B is, what are the type of acts and performances that are happening at Circus Vargas?
Well, first of all, I think one of the things that makes Circus Vargas unique is we do a very like interactive show. So not that we actually physically take people out of their seats, but we try to make them feel part of the circus, that they're intertwined with what we're doing in the performance. So we connect with the audience. We do actually sketches with the audience. So it gets like a very personal level. And then also we try to create like more of an experience. So people from the moment they come in, they feel like they're, wow, I'm not home anymore, so people can forget their troubles, their, bills they have to pay, trouble to kids, it's something they can do with the whole family. It doesn't matter if they have a 2-year-old or a 99-year-old grandma, that's something I think is very unique to, the circus anyway, especially traditional circus, that it doesn't matter what age you have, it doesn't matter what cultural background you're from, religious background, in the circus, none of that matters. And we try to make people even more feel like, here, this Circus Vargas is for everyone. And, we go to a lot of the same cities every year. So every year we create a brand new show with a brand new theme, with a brand new feeling. And people know that. So they come back and back again. They'll know that, oh, they saw it last year, but now it's a new show. And so to go to part B of that question is the new act. So we have, an amazing production, of course, that this year we call Bonjour Paris. We're right now in the LA area, Ventura County, and we're going to also be going to Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, later in the Bay Area, Sacramento, and back in LA. And some of the acts is like an amazing juggling act from the Czech Republic. We have the Wheel of Destiny, or they used to call it the Wheel of Death, but we try to take a little bit the word death out of the circus. But they're amazing act. They're two boys and they're young men, and they do amazing skills on this, this turning wheel. We have, of course, a beautiful contortionist, which happens to be my daughter, Daniela. We have the flying trapeze, which my oldest daughter, Mariela, she's part of that flying trapeze act, which was the act that me and my husband did, and we won our Golden Clown Award with so many years ago, 2004 actually. And and then we have actually also the motorcycles, which is a really fan favorite. Johnathan does an amazing intro to that one. Every time I hear that intro, I just want to see the act. And of course we have clowns, comedy. We have a rollerball act. We have a ladder. I mean, it's so many acts. It's like a 2-hour show, but we don't see anybody leave early. And like Johnathan said, we see so many standing ovations. It's incredible. And actually, me and my husband would come in a lot of times at the end of the show just to see the people's reaction, and also just to talk to people at the end of the show as they're leaving the show. We'll be, just saying goodbye, and people will, give us their feedback. Say, oh my God, we had such a wonderful time. Also we hear a lot. We came to see Circus Vargas when we were kids, and now we're taking our kids. Since Circus Vargas has been around for so many years, especially here in Southern California, but actually it did tour all across America, including New York and Florida. So we never know. We might go back there again one day and go back to the old tours, the old roots.
Wow. This is exciting. We have to take a station break, but when we come back, Johnathan, you have time to even think about this. And I want you, when we come back, I want you to give an opening. Hey, this is the circus.
I knew it was coming.
Give our audience a view of what a ringmaster does, and just send everybody to the circus in their mind. So when we come back, we're going to pick it up from there. But if you want to be part of this great conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask any questions. Like, I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's Your Life from Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be back shortly. after these commercials.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Circus Vargas presents its latest, greatest action-packed extravaganza. See it now under the big top and join us for an amazing experience where new memories are made and treasured for generations to come. See death-defying acrobats and an array of unparalleled artists and performers dedicated to captivate and astound you. The finest in family entertainment, only at Circus Vargas. The big one is back!
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'm tickled pink. I'm a kid again already, and I got the Ringmaster here, and he's getting ready to give us that Ringmaster feeling. He's sending everybody back to the circus right now, in their mind. And I tell you, you might want to catch their show. They're going to be coming to a town near you. Especially I think they're in California right now. They're going to be there for a couple of weeks. And if you haven't got out there to see them, I highly encourage you to do that, because Michelle and I, we're going to be back home in California real soon. And we're hoping to, catch the circus there, and when we get back in June, so looking forward to it. Also, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments. This is the Ringmaster Ringer. Ask me any question that you like, and I promise you we'll get you an answer. Well, Johnathan, the moment that we've been waiting for is, and I know every time you go on the show, they ask you to do this, and I am excited. Can you enlighten us and just put us back in that circus feeling back when we were 6, 16, 26, etc. All of those great things. So you got it, brother.
Welcome, one and all, children of all ages. I am your ringmaster, Johnathan Lee Iverson of Circus Vargas. The big one is back, and we are here live on It's Your Life with the one and only Dr. James Cooley, and of course, the eminent Dr. Michelle.
Man, loving it, loving it.
Okay, I'm going out now.
You know, it's funny.
I tell you.
I went on a show I went on this talk show one time, and they requested, of course, I do the whole ladies and gentlemen and the whole bit. And right when I was about to do it, they said, "Wait a minute, do we need to write you a check?" I said, "What are you talking about?" They told me, they said, we had Michael Buffer on here, the great boxing ring announcer. He said, we had him on here. We were asking for his, his famous "Let's Get Ready to Rumble." And they said they asked him, and he was like, that'll cost you. He had that thing trademarked. So I haven't been that smart yet.
But it is trademark, man. So when they were doing a commercial a second ago, right? Was that you on the video introducing the circus?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes. That was me.
Oh, yeah. That is incredible, man.
Yeah. I almost didn't recognize my own voice. I was like, wait a minute, he sounds familiar. Who is that? Because this is how fast things move around here. They move so fast and in order, and it was so wonderful. I actually had the opportunity to record that bit in my caravan here. It was wonderful. I actually do some voiceover. So circus. The wonderful thing about circus, especially Circus Vargas, is if you have it, they'll use it. And that's how we keep things going. And I was happy to do it. I was so happy to do it. And they gave me the opportunity to do the voiceover for our commercial that you've been so generous to show the public. Thank you very much.
And actually, just wait till you hear Johnathan sing, because I don't think you've heard him sing yet. And that's actually a real highlight of the show. So, yeah.
You think we might be able to get him to do
see, that's the one you got to pay for.
Gotta come see the show. But I brought one of my daughter's apparatus in here that she does the bow and arrow for her contortion act. She uses the biggest bow and arrow that any woman uses with her feet. She shoots it at a target. So
use it with her feet.
Yeah, she shoots with her feet in a handstand. Yep.
And I want to make it clear to everybody, just in case there are any skeptics, they're going, "Oh, she must be a Nepo baby." First of all, one of the wonderful things about circus is the family tradition. And I've never been immersed in a company that really, really displays that like Circus Vargas. I don't only get to work with and for Katya and Nelson, but their families are intimately involved in the building and the presenting and performing of the show. So for instance, you're talking about Daniela Arata, who in her own right, she is making a splash in the circus world. She was just celebrated recently at a Circus Ring of Fame, which is basically the circus industry's Hall of Fame, as Generation Next. So it's just interesting and fascinating to see just the youth in the circus make their own names, even apart from their own parents who are well established. Because as you can imagine, they have a huge shadow to come out from under and make their own names. And I can tell you, as Ringmaster, watching them every day, seeing her professionalism is really enthralling. And then also I have the chance to learn from Katya's father and Nelson's family as well. I mean, these are I like to call them our more seasoned members of our family. And they're so lively. I honestly, I joke with Katya's dad all the time because the man is 81 years young. And every time I see him, he's doing push-ups. He's strong. He's so and I feel like, man, I'm not doing enough with my life. He's so dynamic and alert, and he is such an intimate part of this company, and he and so many like him there. So what I'm saying is really, circus is just this beautiful, all hands on. There's, we may say nepotism, but it's really not, it's like you have to come in and contribute something. And I can tell you, everybody that's here is here on purpose. And they're with us. And so it's really a fascinating thing to observe, enjoy, and to be a part of.
And actually, we do always have had school on the shows. So we have tutors, teachers, all the kids are doing from kindergarten to high school here, but also My daughters are doing online college. Not the oldest one; she's graduated already. She's 25, but my other daughter is still in college while performing and training. So the kids are really very busy and focused, and we want them not. We want them to be able to do multiple things. So that's why we emphasize also their regular education alongside being a performer, because in your life you need both. You need to have both, because just one thing won't be enough. And speaking of my father, it's kind of funny. Yesterday he told me he did a 10-mile ride on his bicycle. I was like, 10 miles? I didn't think I can do 2 miles. He's Italian. He's got one of those little race bikes still, and he goes out and like with all his racing gear, like he's gonna do the Tour de France, literally. He goes on a bike ride like 3 days a week. Yes, it's
He
unbelievable.
doesn't stop moving. He's amazing.
No.
So are you all primarily based out of California?
Yes.
I know you guys travel all around, but
Yeah,
is that in the
we're mostly based out of California. This is where our winter quarters have. In the high desert, we also have our home here. We have a home in Vegas. On occasion, we've traveled all over the country. Right now, we're traveling more California, but we've also been in Vegas, of course, with the show. And we do take our show also out of the country. So we do performances. We've done in Manila, Philippines. We've taken our whole show. Then we take elements of the show always to different cities in Europe, in Germany, Netherlands, Spain, Portugal. So in the off time, we're not really off. We're still producing our shows and elements of the show in other countries around the world. So yeah, it's exciting. Very exciting.
Do you
Because,
all ever come to Texas? You all
you
ever
know
bring the
what?
show to
We
Texas?
used to a lot in the old days, and it was a dream to go back that way. Texas, New York, like I said, Chicago, because those were some of the major hubs of Clifford D. Vargas. We used to play Chicago at Navy Pier every year. New York, and of course in Texas we did many cities like Dallas, Houston, El Paso. So one day, we're just creating this new product also, because don't forget, in the old days all the circus had animals and all that kind of things. Circus Vargas is animal free. We have done so for 17 years, but the trick is not doing the show animal free. The show is amazing. The trick is to let people know, hey, first, we are animal free, because some people don't really want to see animals in the shows, and it's understandable. Everybody has their opinion about it. We have no opinion about it, except we're doing a show without animals. That's our opinion. This is our show. And but also to make people understand that are used to seeing with animals, hey, you can have a great circus without animals. It has acrobats, it has daredevils, it has production numbers, it has, in this case, feathers, live singing, live music. We also have an amazing saxophone player this year, so there's many aspects of circus that people don't know about. And a lot of people still think we kind of travel in wagons and we're like, gypsies but now it's completely transformed into this like art form. You would see a circus the way you would go see a theater or a show or a play or an opera. It's a different style, of course, but it's just as much an art form as the ballet or as the opera or as the theater, so, but it takes time for people to get to know that. So, that's why also we thank you for this platform, also let people know that, hey, circus has evolved. It's modernized, has up-to-date music, tent, seating, a ringmaster. So it's amazing, and we're proud to be part of this this new movement, so to speak.
Wow. I'm curious. I got to ask this question. So 7 generations, and we were talking about legacy with your father, 81, and your daughters and everybody, your parents, and how did it transpire where you and your beautiful family is, now running the circus? It had to be a story to that.
Well, of course, it's a dream of every circus performer to own their own show. Absolutely, And I think ours was a mixture of will, desire, and also opportunity. Like the original Cliff Vargas, parents to Circus Vargas, I was only 10 years old. This was in 1980. So it's a long time ago. At that point, you're not thinking about running a circus. I was still in school and art, but later in life, when I did come to Circus Vargas permanently, and then Cliff Vargas also happened to bring my husband's family to America, and he's from Argentina, and we met. I think things started to, happen, that set our path in this direction. Of course, Cliff Vargas died, and then we were fortunate enough that my mom and my stepfather ended up taking over the show because he was very dear to the original founder. And so they ran and operated the show for almost 20 years. But when they retired, that was our opportunity to say, hey, we want to continue this legacy. We want to continue the show that brought our families here. We want to continue this tradition also of keeping circus alive, because circus at one point in the 80s, it was almost a dying art form. And, we want to bring it back, but, with our own stamp on it, with our own way of doing things, modernization, doing it better, of course. We all want to do things better than the previous generation, but, with actual knowledge behind it, like with my, degree in arts and dance, my husband's insights from his perspective, from traveling the world and being from South America, just different points of view, and of course a lot of support from the original owners.
Wow. We're gonna take a station break, but I don't want to. I want to continue to talk, but we got to pay the bills, so we're gonna take a station break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna pick it up. And we're going to talk some more. If you want to be part of this great conversation, what you just great, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask any questions you like. When we come back, we're going to ask, where is the circus going to be at certain times so you can go to the circus? Because you're going to know exactly where they're going to be. So we'll be back shortly after the break. Is Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Circus Vargas presents its latest, greatest action-packed extravaganza. See it now under the big top and join us for an amazing experience where new memories are made and treasured for generations to come. See death-defying acrobats and an array of unparalleled artists and performers dedicated to captivate and astound you. The finest in family entertainment, only at Circus Vargas. The big one is back!
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I tell you, this is so much fun. So many, as I kind of feel like a kid again. Just having so much fun, and Johnathan, man, you guys are great, and I can't wait to Actually, Michelle and I, when we get back, we live in Temecula as well, Temecula, California.
Okay.
When we get back there to actually come and see you guys in action. And so we're going to discuss in a minute of where you guys going to be at certain periods of time. But I want to put a plug in on the a Black Man Point of View. This is my sixth book that will be coming out June the 6th, and we have the bestseller campaign. And I encourage everyone to go out and the ebook portion of it. It's going to be, you're going to drop the price all the way down to 99 cents on June the 6th. I encourage everybody to go out there and buy this. I think it's a masterpiece, not just because I wrote it, but I think it's got a major story now that everybody needs to understand. So help support us in purchasing a Black Man Point of View, Mind, Body, and Soul. Release date June the 6th, June 6th, June 6th. Go out and get it June 6th. Right now, it's on every platform. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all other major platforms. But June 6th, bestseller campaign on Amazon. Go out and buy my book. Okay, got that out the way. So Jonathan, how does it feel, man? To my you, such a young man that has accomplished so many great things, and I can see joy and happiness and fun in your smile on your face right now. So just tell us a little bit about that. Are you living your life? I mean, your dreams, or is it other things that you want to accomplish, or are you doing them all right now?
You know, I'm going the way my blood beats, as the great James Baldwin used to say. I've been very fortunate from the beginning of my life. I have a mother who I think is a social scientific genius. I think she's a mad scientist. Of course, I thought she was quirky and crazy when I was much younger, but I see now what she did was really program me to manage myself well in the world. And the best gift she ever gave me was a love of myself, of my culture, who I am, to always just stand in the truth of who I am. And with that, I always pursued things that I really felt were designed for me. And I'm living a life of gratitude. I am living probably beyond my dreams. I didn't run away and join the circus. The circus found me, but it was just such a wonderful detour in my life that aligned with everything I was doing. I just always wanted to travel when I was a kid. That's how I ended up in the Boys Choir of Harlem. And I discovered I could sing a tune and hold it and actually make a career out of it. And that really became the dream. And that's what I share with a lot of audiences when I speak. And of course, young people as well. Really go the way your blood beats. You know, P.T. Barnum, one of our great personalities in the circus world, he says my favorite quote of all time. He says, "Unless a man enters upon the vocation intended for him by nature and best suited to his peculiar genius, he cannot succeed." And so I really believe in the idea of staying in your lane, because as we know, if you're driving and you're just swerving in and out of lanes, you might cause an accident, you might harm yourself, and you'll hold up progress. But the same thing happens when you're not living a life of absolute authenticity. If you're not living the life that you were designed to live, it holds us all up. And so I really do feel convicted that I owe the world, I owe, my ancestors, I owe anybody to actually live the life I was designed to live. So I'm living an amazing life. I don't know what the future is going to bring, to be honest with you. I'm not a big planner. That's God's business. I like to be a conduit. And, I know I have a voice. I know I have an imagination. I know I have wonderful relationships like the one I have with Circus Vargas and Katya and her family. And those are the types of things that I depend on as signs of what I'm doing right. And I go with that. And I enjoy the ride. I just enjoy the ride, and I do the very best I can where I'm at. I try to give as much as I can where I'm at. I really love being ringmaster. I don't think there's any gig in show business more magical than being ringmaster. I mean, it's definitely safe. I get to run my mouth, and I don't have to take the risk.
We're down to the better part of 2 minutes. And Katya, can you tell our viewers and listeners where the schedule, where you guys gonna be at what? I'm
Yes.
curious because I want to make sure
Right.
that
Well, actually, we just
that
left the LA area. We spent a long time in LA. We always are there, April, May, and we've also been in San Diego, which we're always in January, February, and a little bit of March. And right now, we are in Ventura, city of Ventura, Ventura County, by the beach, by the ocean. It's beautiful. And working up our way. Our next location in 2 weeks will be in Santa Barbara, and then we'll be in San Luis Obispo. Then we actually take a short 2 week break, or we go on vacation with our family, and then we're gonna start up again in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, in early August. So no, it's an exciting tour. We're happy to give so much joy to so many people, and like I say, the circus is in your blood, especially not only for, I think, people that are multi-generational like myself. I think also for first time circus generation performers. We have several on the show. We have from our flying trapeze artist, we have a girl that does the triple, and a gentleman that's her husband is the catcher. They're first generation and they love it. They just don't ever want to leave circus. They also want to travel the world, like Johnathan Lee Iverson said, loves traveling the world. And it's something that's fun, and it's also something that gives something back to others. And I know as a child, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, except I wanted to do something that I could give back to others. And I feel, at least with what I'm doing now, we can. And besides just selling tickets, we actually also donate a lot of tickets to the less fortunate, to boys and girls clubs, to kids from foster families that they don't really have the funds to see circus. Well, it's not their fault that their parents don't have money to see the circus. I mean, the circus should be for every child to see. So we make a very huge effort to actually donate to the less fortunate people that that don't have actually funds to see the circus. And they deserve it too.
yeah. So we're down to about the last 30 seconds. How can people purchase tickets to the circus? Is there a
Well,
quick way of what?
yeah, you can always come to our box office. That's right in front of the tent. Right now with the Ventura County Fairgrounds, and they'll be at Santa Barbara County Fairgrounds. But the best way is go to circusvargas.com and go to buy tickets. That's the easiest. You can buy in advance. You can choose your seats, everything. So circusvargas.com, and sign up to our newsletter too, because then you also know if we come to a new city like Chicago, New York, or Texas.
Looking for. Hey, I want to thank you all so much for taking time to come on the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and thank you. We'd love to have you guys on again. I'd like to thank my exec producer and co-host, Dr. Michelle Cooley, for putting together another absolutely wonderful show. Most important, I'd like to thank our listeners and our viewers for always tuning in to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. I'm Dr. James.